Dar Jamal. He's going to be speaking for a couple of minutes. Let me get original sound turned on so you can also hear that. Okay.
All that's left on the planet. I mean, the plans have already been drawn up. Here's where we're going to drill in the Arctic once the sea ice is gone. I mean, this is going to go. It's hard for me not to envision this going Mad Max is another way to put it. It's really looking grim, and I keep waiting for this dominant culture to collapse under its own weight or implode. But I talk to some of my indigenous friends and they're like, welcome to our world, buddy. We've been waiting for that for thousands of years. And it's
exactly.
really intense now. And clearly, parts of the planet are giving way and succumbing, and species are going away. And, it absolutely, there's now already parts of the planet that were formerly habitable that are now not. And so I've had to stop waiting for some sort of, it's gonna go as long as they're in power and as long as they have the means and the control and keep generating profits. Like, this is going to keep going. And I think that's part for me that I've realized recently. I have to accept that there's not going to be the great justice. The injustices are going to continue. And that's part of, I think, what I've had to do to assimilate, to try to accept, okay, how am I going to be? And, it's part of that disappointment and the crushing, the overwhelming sadness and anger. And because I'm a fighter. I mean, that's why I went into Iraq. Like, I'm willing to put my ass on the line for what I believe in regularly. But does it make sense to go do that in front of a machine that is not going to stop, and there's no way it's going to stop? And it just comes down to, that's why in the conclusion of my book, I really explored all these different perspectives on, the Václav Havel quote that I include about it's, hope is not doing something to get an expected result, but doing something because it's the right thing to do. And I'm paraphrasing there.
Exactly.
And then coming back to the moral obligations in indigenous cultures, which are, we're born, the two primary obligations that all of us have are to take care of and be good stewards of the planet, and to take care of and make decisions based on what's for the betterment of all future the future generations of all species. And when I wake up and I focus on those two things, and not, myself and how am I doing and what do I want, but I have to be of service. And those are my good days when I remember to do that. And when I get off track and kind of sink back into a morass of self-pity or my own fears and everything about what's happening to the planet, it's just when I forget to take my eye off that ball take my eye off the ball of being of how can I serve the planet?
Okay, so this is Dar Jamal, the environmental journalist that I used part of his teaching on Friday in the Dharma talk. So you can go see the Dharma talk. And I also linked his entire interview in the YouTube video of the Dharma talk. So you can find it there as well. So I like very much, he's saying, these two imperatives that we all share: to be good stewards of the earth and to make decisions based on the viability and the well-being of all the species to come. So when we come to yoga practice, we're here to kind of recalibrate, to work out the angst and the despair, to let it move through and be metabolized, not to push it aside. And then to feel the clarity that can come back into our hearts and our minds about how will we be of service. Even if it's a small action of service, how will we keep that sense of service and agency so that we can feel ourselves moving in a direction where we hope more people are also moving in that direction, while at the same time acknowledging that a high percentage of humans aren't interested in this direction, and an even higher percent have been disregarded and are facing marginalization and poverty, and the resources that they would need to be stable have been compromised. So We're actually, those of us gathered here are in a small percentile. So we have to be kind of supercharged. You have to be nutrient dense people. So that is why we come for yoga practice and we come together so we can be nutrient dense, really fortified being here together. So I'm going to roll back a little bit from my computer and we'll start with sitting quietly. We will have a pranayama practice. I do want to help work out some of the yayas in the system, and then we'll go to a quieter strengthening and restoring physical practice. So please take a comfortable and upright seat. You're welcome to close your eyes if you like. You also could keep your gaze open, but gently cast it down. We do begin our practice by coming inside. A reminder that your body is the ecology. You are not separate from nature. So when you come to feel, when your attention can remember the fabric of your own body, do that from a perspective that this is nature. Your skin cells, the blood supply, your breath. This is nature itself. Now, to the extent that each of us cares for our personal ecology in the best possible way, we have our vitality and our resources more available to us. So now, as you breathe into your body as this expression of nature, start breathing in a very grounding and loving manner. So the feeling tone of your breath, the pace of your breath, the medicine of the breath for your body and your brain. Something to consider is when you inhale, let the breath begin in the pelvis and rise up concentrically to your mid-torso, up to your heart, front and back. And then keep your heart and collarbones lifted during the exhale so that you'll feel the deep low belly coming in to usher the exhale out. One of the things about being more sedentary, because we can't go outside, and also we don't want to breathe in the smoke, our breathing may be compromised in the last few days. So focus on the exhalation that is going to usher the residue of the unfinished exhales out. So again, when you inhale, there's going to be this slow lift of the rib cage and the heart. Keep your heart and collarbones lifted during your exhale. And focus the exhale breath on recruiting the deep muscles in the pelvis, those ones that they wrap around the front of your abdomen and they draw in to support the exhale to go up and out. Please do that 3 times more. And as you finish your 3rd exhale, then bring your hands together at your heart. You're welcome to sing with me if you like, or simply to listen. We'll chant Asatoma Satgamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. You may bow your head to your heart and release your hands. Open your eyes. Okay, we're going to do the pranayama from yesterday, and I'm going to add to it to give you a sense of being able to expel that which might be sort of resting in your lungs. So it'll be 10 strong exhale breaths, and inhale through the nose, inhale, suspend, and then exhale, blow out through the mouth. We'll do this about 5 times. So let's begin. Inhale through both nostrils. Suspend the breath. Exhale through the mouth like a little straw. Deeply relax. When we do inhale suspension, we are snugging the low belly in and up during that suspension. During the exhale, we do keep the chest still lightly floating up. So the exhale really comes from the low belly. Let's do it again. Inhale through both nostrils. Suspend the breath. Exhale through a tiny straw. Deeply relax. You may have noticed that the tone of the belly has to increase, and specifically it increases between your pubic bone and your navel. That's during that long exhale. Let's do it again. Breathe in through your nose. Suspend. Exhale through a tiny straw. Deeply relax. Again. Breathe in. Suspend. Exhale. Deeply relax. And we're going to use a quick revolution of the spine, left to right, left to right. And to do this, you place your hands on your shoulders. We're going to be going right, left, like that. You can exhale out the nose if you're able to at this pace, or you can do it through the mouth if you need to. So it goes like this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come to center. Now inhale through the nose, through both nostrils, and hold the breath at the top. Make your right hand ready. Close the right nostril, exhale left side only. Inhale both nostrils. At the top, you're going to hold the breath. Close the left nostril, exhale right. Deeply relax. We are going to repeat that. So if you have to blow your nose, go ahead and do so. Otherwise, bring your hands up to your shoulders. Keep the spine tall in the process, and we'll begin together. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come to center. Inhale through both nostrils. You're going to hold the breath at the top. Exhale left nostril, excuse me. Inhale both. Suspend. Exhale right. Release your right hand down. Let's take this up to standing. So we're gonna back up away from the computer for me, but I'm also gonna take this computer back with me because it's gonna be my microphone today. Right, so let me switch views for you guys. I see I have to add a spotlight and then remove a spotlight. That's a new function in Zoom. Okay, so this is going to be my microphone, my laptop, and my phone will be my camera. Okay, so I'd like you to take a stance. We call it horse stance, when you bend the knees and you sit like this as if you were riding a horse. We're going to be going side to side, and when we do that, we're going to go first just with the fists against the ribs, front and back, and then we're going to turn it into a strong exhale like this, where you go on the exhale. So start with just this action to get the spine and the mid-torso warmed up. So knees bent a little bit, and let the pelvis be stable as much as possible. So you're actually rotating from your belly, your spine, your heart and shoulders. And let this be rhythmic according to your body. Might not be precisely the same as mine. And when we're going to embark on the strong exhales here, you do pull one arm back with a fist, and you push the other hand forward like you're stopping traffic. And it goes like this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come to center now. Inhale, go up. Make your feet parallel and exhale, come down like a rag doll. And relax your mind to watch how your body now breathes you. It's fine to have the knees a little bit bent or even a lot bent if you need to. Let the torso cascade down like a waterfall. And then please bring your hands up to your hips, rise up to standing. Set your heels in a little bit for horse stance again, second time. So just first rotating, and by the way, this tapotman is what it's called. This little pounding on the ribs. You're getting a chance to wake up your liver on the right, your gallbladder on the right, on the left, your spleen, your pancreas, on the back side, the kidneys. So giving a little juice. It's from Qigong, you say. And then we'll begin the strong exhales together, but of course go at the pace that's yours. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now inhale, go up. Make your feet parallel and exhale to come down. Sometimes it will feel to you like your body is about to yawn or needs to yawn. Please go ahead and follow that. That is your body's effort to balance your O2, CO2 levels. And you can yawn during yoga class. Now from where you are, please walk your hands and feet into downward facing dog pose. And in your downward dog pose, set yourselves up so your hands are shoulder width apart, your feet are hip distance apart. And check that this is about the distance that you know you need to use for plank pose. And when you have a sense of that, reach high into your downward dog and While you keep your arms strong and steady, relax the weight of your head. The recommendation there is that your arms are stable. So when I say relax your head, it doesn't mean let the armpits become like hammocks. It doesn't mean that your shoulders should feel loosey-goosey. So arms strong and stable. And relax the weight of your head. Invite your tongue to soften if you can. Even the place right between your eyebrows, you could consider melting right there. Now please inhale forward to plank pose, slowly and in rhythm with the length of your breath. And exhale, reach back, downward facing dog, slowly and in rhythm with your breath. Now we're going to inhale through the nose to come forward, but we're going to make a sound on the exhale as we go back. We'll be blowing out the mouth, kind of like Bastrika, but a long exhale. Again. So you come forward with the inhale. There's your plank pose. Then exhale back. Again. Now touch your knees down. Bring 1 or 2 blocks in for your child's pose to support your head. I like in child's pose that if you place your elbows just a couple inches in front of your knees and then turn your palms face up, it has this gesture of humility or receptivity. Excuse me. So in child's pose, you just let the body relax right there and notice what access do you now have to your lower belly for sensing the breath, like across the lowest region of your abdomen. And then please walk your hands back towards your knees, rise up to kneeling. We are going to practice the sun salutation, Surya Namaskar. So let's place 2 blocks for Uttanasana to be a stronger experience and step forward to rise up to standing. I'm cutting my head off. You guys know what I look like. Okay, join your hands together, please. Now I'm going to recommend during Surya Namaskar that you think of yourself as like a yogi, a forest yogi, a warrior yogi, an urban yogi, and you're in training. And so use the Ujjayi breath. You want to create this internal sort of force field, this prana or ojas, this force field of your vitality. So this is a time to set aside thoughts and to be in the energy body, what we call the pranamaya kosha, as a doorway to go deeper into your wisdom body and to our sense of interconnectedness. So with Ujjayi, you'll hear the sound of the breath in the inner ear, a silent place inside, where you can hear the silky, smooth sound of your own breath. Let's begin. Arms up. And then exhale, chair pose. Inhale, rise up, upward hands pose. Little bit of a back bend here at the top, so your hips can come slightly forward. And then exhale, line your hips up with your heels and bow down to Uttanasana. Press into the blocks to firm your arms and your deep low belly. Inhale, glide forward through your heart. Ujjayi, exhale, left foot back. Inhale, rise. We're going to stay up, but on the exhale, I want you to turn your palms face out. Press your arms out, gaze up. Inhale, rise, gaze forward. Then exhale, press out, gaze up, lift your heart. Inhale to rise, gaze forward. So you're gazing as a yogi warrior. When you exhale, press your arms wide, clear the windows of your mind, lift up with your heart and your gaze. One more time, inhale to go up. And exhale, arms wide. Stretch into your full wingspan. This time as you rise, then the next exhale is going to be to descend. So as you exhale, arms wide like an airplane, come down to touch the two blocks. Please inhale your left foot forward, heart forward. And then exhale for a deep bow in Uttanasana. Complete the exhale by toning the muscles just above your pubic bone in the deep abdomen. Inhale, glide forward. Exhale, right toes back. Inhale to rise. Then exhale, push the arms out, lift your chest and your heart, your collarbones, your eyes. Inhale, gaze forward. You have to gaze forward with a kind of strength or determination, bravery. Exhale to rise up with your heart and your eyes, lower the arms down. Again, inhale, arms up, gaze forward. It is important that you're going at the rhythm that is your breath cycle. So you're synchronizing your mind, your breath, your body, your heart. Here's the last one. Press out, gaze up. And inhale to rise. And exhale to descend. At the pace of your exhale, no need to rush it. Place your hands on your blocks. Inhale backwards, downward dog pose. With your hands on the blocks, your dog pose is going to be able to go further back into your hips and down towards your heels. So it does change where you distribute your body weight. Take a deep breath in through the nose, please. And then Ujjayi, exhale to come forward to plank. Gaze down between your thumbs. And now stay for 2 strong breath cycles. The plank pose is a pose of endurance, stamina, strength, commitment. Keeping the breath smooth. With your next inhale, parachute your back body up towards the ceiling as you lower your knees down to cat pose. And then exhale, bring your chest forward to cow pose. Inhale, roll through to seal pose. And exhale, slide your shoulders back so you're kind of melting down to cobra pose. And then inhale, press back up to seal pose. I do encourage you this morning to also lift your chin. And exhale, plank. Inhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And now exhale, right foot forward, left foot forward, and Uttanasana in the same exhalation. Inhale to rise. And then exhale to your heart. Now pause in mountain pose for a few moments. You can relax the Ujjayi breath and listen for the possible simultaneous experience of your indwelling presence, your indwelling wisdom, and your sensitivity to all that is vulnerable and precious right now. Those two things, they can co-arise. At the same moment, you sense your inner wisdom, which is larger than you and not actually about you. You can also feel the vulnerabilities, everything that is precious and finite. Now we're going to put Anjaneyasana into the sun salutation. So this is a good time if you like a blanket for your knees to get one. Let's begin. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, glide forward. Now exhale, left toes back and left knee down. Tip your blocks to tall and inhale to come up. Now let's exhale, let the chest and heart open. Take your arms just out to the side, palms face out. And inhale, raise your arms up like you're gazing upwards and also gathering energy in. And then exhale, hands to your heart, gaze towards your heart. Let's do that again. So inhale, the arms go wide this time, gathering energy, wisdom, consciousness. Exhale, bringing that down into your heart. 3 times more. Inhale. And exhale, bringing that down into your heart. You can choose that which you are gathering, of course. I'm simply saying consciousness or grace or strength. You decide what you need to bring into your heart. Once more. Let's touch both of the blocks, tip them to the medium setting, and now inhale, straighten both legs. And exhale to bow over your right leg. This is a more inward pose, and you are welcome to walk your blocks back until maybe they're under your shoulders. And however flexible you happen to be, whatever your bow over your right leg is, it doesn't need to match mine, of course, but let it be an inward experience with some stability. So make the Ujjayi breath consistent. That is one way to really cultivate a stable mind. While you're practicing, what I mean by stable mind is you're not letting the riffraff of your own mental habits intrude on you during your practice. So the 2 imperatives that Dar was mentioning, one is chaperoning or stewarding the earth. We don't want our mental riffraff to get in the way of that. And the other is seeing how we can make decisions based on the welfare of all the species on the planet. We also don't want our mental riffraff to detract from that. With your next inhale, begin to bend your right knee. So you're going to return to what we call lunge, where you've got your right foot, both hands in front. And then inhale, float your left foot forward to meet your right foot. And let's just take a deep bow in Uttanasana. Now inhale, glide forward. We're going to get ready for the second side. So right toes back and right knee down. Tip the blocks to tall. Inhale to come up. On the exhale, this first exhale, just take the shoulders back, turn your palms face out, and then inhale, arms wide. You can even imagine you're gathering in the tribe of humanity and bringing that down into your heart. Or you inhale and you're gathering in the forests, the mountains, the rivers, the glaciers, and bringing that also into your heart. So you can gather what you like, qualities, people, populations, plants, animals, whatever feels intuitively nourishing for you. We'll do 2 more breath cycles. Here's the last one. And then as you come down to the heart, use your hands to tip the blocks back to medium or make them stable as you need to, and inhale, straighten both legs. And then exhale to bow over your left leg. And decide if you'd like to walk your hands back to be under your shoulders. And this inward bow is a time where I want you to reflect on what Dar Jamal was saying there about the two imperatives that we all share. And breathe in again. Acknowledge the efforts that you are making without judging your body's capacity. And you can bend your left knee and come back to your basic lunge. Place the 2 blocks and please step backwards to downward facing dog pose. Now let's inhale forward to plank. We'll do the full sequence of the same sun salute last time. So let's inhale now, cat pose. And then exhale to cow pose, so your chest and heart come forward. And inhale, come forward, seal, down to cobra. You've exhaled completely. Now inhale to go up. Press down, rise up, strengthen your arms, lift your heart, open your throat. This time, exhale, roll to table pose. Bring 1 block back and come to child's pose. And in child's pose, you can reflect again. How is it you're called to serve or to simplify, to support others who are serving? And I know that some of us are feeling the fatigue of so many issues in a row, but apparently this is what's being asked of us. So no argument against reality. We're just asking, how are we being called to serve or to simplify or to support those who are serving? And then from child's pose, please walk your hands back towards your knees. I'd like you to get a couple of blankets. Please place your blankets to sit on. So it's going to be for Upavista Konasana. And I know that some of you don't need 2 blankets to sit on for this pose, but for those of you who do, you can place them like this to support your pelvis. And if you're someone who doesn't need that much support, by all means, just use 1 blanket and take a seat. And we take the feet and the legs out. It's called Upavista Konasana. So a wide leg forward bend. When you come forward, you can choose to use the blocks to support your elbows. And you can use the hands to support your head. Or for some of you, coming forward, you have the flexibility to come down closer to the floor. That doesn't make you better at yoga, just to clarify. It makes you genetically inclined in this direction. You know, with some dedication to your yoga, you have cultivated. But I don't want those who can't come that far forward to think anything less of their yoga. And we don't have to think more of our yoga just because we can come down. Let's think of this as a variation on the innerness, the inward nature of the standing forward bend we had with the two legs separate, and a variation on the child's pose. So still keeping your awareness really internal. And ask, how might you serve or simplify? Simplify means to simplify something in your own life so your personal ecology is being cared for better, or simplify something in your life so you're using resources on the planet in a responsible way. Or how might you support those who are serving? Please keep your legs energized in Upavista Konasana. So the kneecaps are not lazy. If you reached over, you wouldn't be able to wiggle your own kneecap. So the thigh muscles are toned here. And even the feet can be dynamic. You don't have to be stressed about it, but the feet can be dynamic. And please place your hands just beneath your shoulders. Press down so you can rise up to sitting thoughtfully. And then bring your feet in, watching out for your water glass and your blocks. And now I'm going to recommend that you sit up on two blankets. And I'm doing this because I want your hips to be a little bit higher for this pose. Even if you could do it on the floor all the way, I'd like you to have your hips elevated. Stretch the left leg out in front of you. Walk your right foot a little bit to the right. You're going to be coming to the inside here. The reason to elevate your hips, each of them, rather than being on the floor is sometimes when we come forward, if we're only on the floor, the pelvis has to go crooked to then come forward. And I'd like you to try to keep both hips pretty anchored here. So reach your right arm forward with an inhale. And then exhale, and as you come down, aim your right fingertips to be somewhere near to your left foot. Possibly you'll actually hold on to your foot. You may hold on to your ankle. You might put a lasso around your foot to hold on to it. So let's put the left hand to the left and use it as a little bit of a rudder so you're not tipping over to your left. And while you reach long with your torso and your right arm, see if the right hip can consistently drop back down to the blanket. And this morning, you're welcome to bow your head a little bit towards the floor. Let there be the inwardness that you are craving or needing to become replenished. Now with your right hand, depending on how far forward you are, you can reach your right hand across. So you've got both hands out now like little cantilevers. And let the right arm gently press back against your right shin. And do your best to keep the right hip grounded. And then please inhale and come upright and stretch your right leg forward to meet your left, and spend a few moments only noticing the temperature returning down your right leg. Don't let your mind go anywhere else. Notice the temperature, the warmth of the blood supply going back down. Try to sense that warmth arriving in your foot, in your arch, and your toes. And then bend your left knee and walk it a little bit to the left. So your seat is wider, your feet are wider than hip distance. Bring the left arm forward. Keep breathing in. And then exhale to come forward. You may choose to hold your right foot with your left hand. You might not be able to reach it. You could again use a lasso if you like. Invite your left hip to stay heavy and grounded. Your head can be downward, so your attention is inward. You have gifted your body and your mind with this time, this medicine, this connection, this communion. So stay present as much as you're able to. And walk your left hand and arm across to the left and right hand to the right. And you can gently press your left shoulder back against your left shin. Allow the sensations of your body, the inwardness of this pose might be bringing you back to feel some emotions inside that you may have been a little bit distant from. When you next inhale, then raise your chest and heart. Come up, stretch your left leg forward in Dandasana. And let your mind simply notice the warmth returning down your left leg. Notice it arriving into your heel, your arch, and your toes. And then place the soles of your feet together, still sitting up on two blankets. You can take one block for each side of your pose and give support. And this time when you come forward, feel free to walk the hands forward any amount that is suited to you. So these two imperatives, Darjamal said, that all indigenous species know and that every one of us actually shares. We haven't been as explicit in westernized culture that these are our imperatives. One, to steward the earth, not to consume it. And the other, to see to the welfare of all the species on the planet because we know we're deeply interconnected. And with your next inhale, reach forward and then glide up to sitting. Make sure the blocks are comfortable where your knees want to rest for a few moments in Baddha Konasana. Rest your hands out over your knees. And like we did earlier in mountain pose, let's see now if you can sense both this sort of deepest wisdom that it comes through you, it's larger than you, it expresses itself through you. It kind of borrows you for its wisdom to be externalized. And at the same time, you can sense the vulnerabilities, everything that is precious and also finite. And both of these things are bigger than you are by yourself. This wisdom, this collective wisdom, wisdom of the earth and nature, and the vulnerabilities, the challenges, these are bigger than you are by yourself. So now I'd like you also to sense that we're gathered together for practice, and it helps us to feel less small or less alone. Now with the two blankets that you have, I'm going to ask you to put them on your mat for a little back bend practice. And you might want to keep the blocks close by. It depends on how flexible your upper back is. So if you turn these two blankets, I'll turn so you can see my profile. You might have to just sneak forward on your mat and then you have them already set. So they're going to go under the upper back on the heart. For some of you, using your bolster would be a good substitute if you prefer that. And when you go backwards, if for you, lying backwards over a bolster or a blanket stack is too high, first thing you can check is, would it be helpful to put one of these blocks under your head? Would you feel like your spine and your heart are more supported? Now, the second thing you could check is have one less blanket or fold only one blanket, a little bit thicker, so you're taking the height of the blankets down some. So I'm going to ask you to decide for yourself, and I'm going to turn myself so that my voice is closer to the computer microphone. Until I get my adapters for this computer, I can't use my other microphone. It doesn't have a USB port on this computer. So when you lie back in a back bend position like this, you can think of the happy dogs and cats in your life that when they're most relaxed, they lay on the back and they want you, at least I interpret it this way, they want you to pet the belly. So that means that they feel safe enough in those moments. So try to sense that as you reach back like this, you are inviting your heart to feel safe enough for this opening. You're inviting your solar plexus to feel safe enough for this opening. And observe the pathway of the breath, not trying to make it or coerce it, but really just to notice that here it comes in and out. Just like life is breathing the trees and the plants and the animals, life also wants to breathe you. See if you can encourage a little softening from the floating ribs, the lowest of your ribs, the uppermost portion of your abdomen. Can there be some softening right through there at the solar plexus, at the fire center? This is the dosha of Pitta. Now allow yourself to relax a few degrees more for just a short while longer. Know that even in a resting pose, your body is having a transformational experience. There are systems inside, and they're taking care of really important duties for you. And they know how to do it. That's the other cool thing. They know how to do it. Yeah. Okay, so we've been lying on our back now. I'm going to ask you to make a slight turn and let's roll to your left side, please. So both knees down to your left, and you can use a block for your head, or you can use your left arm like I'm doing. And take the right arm overhead. So I would like the blankets to be under your rib cage, so really up close to your armpit. Reach the right arm long overhead and actively reach your right hip away from your right arm. And with an attitude of, appreciation or kindness towards yourself, that you even want to feel the devastation, the despair, and that's hard. An attitude of appreciation that you want to be vital enough to serve. And sometimes it feels like we're going upstream in society. So give yourself really deep appreciation and kindness for what you long to experience, express, and offer. I'm going to ask you to release your arm down and roll to the other side. So you roll onto your back, roll the other way. Bring your knees towards your chest. Support your head with your arm or with the block. And reach the top arm long overhead. So you're lengthening the side of your waist there. Actively reach your hip away from your torso. Again, with appreciation for your intentions, your values, your longings. And lower your arm down and please roll onto your backside one more time. This time take both arms overhead, stretch both legs out. And take a deep breath in. Feel the inner body becoming longer, maybe more spacious. And now here we go. You're going to hold the back of your head, curl the elbows up, look forward, and then like yesterday, raise the arms, curl up, sit up, swing your blankets around under your knees, and lie back for Shavasana. Now, as with yesterday, a couple things. You could cover with a blanket. Something that I'm recommending, and this might seem strange to you if you haven't done it before, a sandbag can go on the heart, actually. Now, a couple places you can put the sandbag if you have one. It's like this, certainly across the top of the thighs, below the pubic bone, or on the pubic bone, but below your hip bones. Another option would be to rest it across the chest like this, or sometimes people take it this way, where the handle I put under. So the weight on the center of the sternum, and then just a little bit over the solar plexus, that can be very calming, even though it might look strange. The solar plexus is the fire center, the third chakra. And the heart is the air center, the fourth chakra. So you have pitta and then vata. So putting this weight, maybe you don't have a sandbag, but you could use a blanket as a substitute, or a baby, or a cat, or a dog. So if you have, this is an option. Take your palms face up, please, and turn your head to center. And give yourself permission to begin softening into this Shavasana, knowing that you're here so you can be more resilient, you can be more resourced. You're not here to reject the world and what is happening. You're not hiding out by practicing yoga. You are resolving, restoring building resilience and resource. And that means you need to rest in Shavasana. Don't forego Shavasana, the most important pose in the whole sequence. And while you're resting, let the mind release the habits that would pull you away from resting. Let your mind release the habits that would pull you away from resting.
तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। 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 ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
Now, over the next few moments, just welcome yourself to hear the absence of the chanting, the fullness of the space in which sound occurs. Feel also the heaviness of the body resting and being supported by the earth. You can lightly wiggle your fingers and your toes. When you're ready to, please bend your knees and roll to one side. You can rest there for a few moments as you then bring yourself back up to sitting. I see that some of you are being held down by your cat, so you're not going to come back up to sit right now. It's okay. The cats know what to do. Yeah. We're going to sit for a minute together just to feel each other's presence. If you don't now have your setting on gallery view, I would recommend that you do. So you can also feel how many people are practicing with you, and you really are not alone. Even their pets are here. Cheryl's dog is here. So you go to gallery view, you can feel your community. Everyone is kind of tiny on the screen right now, of course, but it's also possible that you'll see somebody that you were actually at a Brighton Bush retreat with. Or maybe you were in Alaska at a workshop that I taught, but somebody else who's here from Alaska was also there. And just letting it into your heart that you are contributing vitality in this community. Your presence here matters. In times when you're feeling fragile or vulnerable, you can imagine that others would be accepting that in you. They would be supporting or nourishing that, since it's a genuine response to the circumstances, as you would offer that to somebody else. So bringing this into your heart, you can join your hands and imagine you're gathering your community into your heart, both this community and of course beyond this community. And we can sing Loka Samasta. We'll do it once through. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be kept safe from unnecessary suffering, be kept safe from unnecessary harm. May those of us who experience suffering, may we have it as easily as possible with as much support as we need. May everyone, everywhere, have access to the means of safety, ease, clean water, clean air, shelter, companionship. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. Also, I want to make a quick reminder that we are having